My name is John Granberry, and this is Barriers to Web 2.0 and the Digital Divide for AEP 800. So with the article summary, you have your key factors, which are time, the amount of time it takes to use technology and learn technology in the classroom. If something breaks, teachers normally revert back to their original lessons without the use of technology, and this becomes something that happens over and over again, and after a while they just say, forget it, and I'm not using it. Training, we need to have better trained teachers on how to use the technology, what to do if it breaks, how to fix it, how to have better integration in your classroom. We need better technology support from our IT professionals, both in training and getting more people into the classrooms to fix things when they go wrong. More administrative support as far as better vision of where we're going to take the technology, how we're going to integrate it, and how we can cut costs to and be more efficient with what we have. A lot of that goes back to then the culture and the vision, what we have for our school. How are we going to get things done? How are we going to use technology as a whole and integrate this to make the students, to engage them more, to get them 100% buy-in. Then we have the digital divide, looking at the inequity between those students who have multiple forms of technology and a lot of access to those students who have none. It was referred in the article that Mississippi had only 9% of households with broadband access versus the national average, which was 20% have access to broadband internet in their homes, and that was in 2012. I found that fact to be pretty alarming. Then we have the advantages and disadvantages of Web 2.0. The advantages were that you have increased engagement, more collaboration. Disadvantages, you have cyberbullying, you have kind of an addiction that you can get to social media. Bridging the digital divide, you have, I believe, starts with visionary leadership. You as the administrator have to find ways. You can no longer make excuses for we don't have the money, we don't have access. You have to go out and find it, get the resources that you need to create the kind of technology department that you want and the access that you need for your students, and increasing their engagement. No more excuses. We tend to, in the education field, oh well, that's just what we have, and not going out and getting what we need. Part of that, I think, goes back to policy changes, leveling the playing field. When we look at the ISTE standard 1C, it's all about advocating for state and local, on the state and local and national levels for policy changes. And I think that those are critical things that we have to do to make it, to get access for everyone. And then expanding the use of digital tools. If we do open access up to everyone, that allows everybody to have, if we allow the playing field to be level, then those digital tools that we have are, they can open up and create the kind of collaboration and integration that we need and increase student engagement. When we look at the 21st century skills that we have, we've got creativity. You have, coming up with new ideas, which leads to innovation, which is what Web 2.0 is all about. Critical and analytical thinking and problem solving. You're going to have problems, but you have to be able to think critically and analytically. I think sometimes we get away from that, and we don't look at how we're going to break things down into steps instead of looking at them as a whole. Um, you have communication and collaboration. Um, you got to be able to talk to people, and that's one of my downfalls, is being a better communicator. Without the communication, you can have no collaboration. uh, Being able to be digitally literate, how do we use computers to increase student engagement? um, how do we write emails? How do we use iPads? um, I think part of that goes back then to getting kids to get into the programming aspect of coding and making apps. I don't know why we're not teaching more of this in schools. Flexibility, adaptability, being flexible, being able to make changes. I think teachers are sometimes can be fickle and they get stuck in their ways. They don't like to, uh, if something goes wrong, they don't know how to respond to a technology failure in their classroom. They're not able to adapt and learn the technology as quickly as that we need them to. Take an initiative and self-direction. You got to be able to do things on your own. You have to start a project on your own. You have to take it in the direction that you want. That goes kind of gets into the leadership aspect of it. Like that was said in the NWP article that um, we have to work on social skills and soft skills, empathy, caring, compassion, you know, uh, respect. How do we treat people with kindness? Um, how do we get along with others? Those are all really important things that we have to be teaching right now. Being productive members of society, um, it's a key function of everything that we do. We have a lot of people who stop looking for jobs. We got to get them back working again. Leadership, um, that's a key function. We have a lot of principals who are great managers, but they have no vision for where the school needs to go. They just keep maintaining that status quo of this is what we've always gotten, this is how we're going to do things, and this is the way we've always done it. And I think that's very stifling for technology integration. You can't just do what you've always done. You have to look at what's coming out. And then responsibility goes back to a little bit of the productivity and leadership. You have to be responsible. If something fails, if you have, you challenge teachers to bring in new ideas and it fails, you are ultimately the one who takes responsibility for those failures. But I think that those are key issues that we need to be teaching kids, and we need to model ourselves as teachers and administrators of how we want those things done. Um, the global impact has had on my personal use of the internet. I believe that we have heightened security on our phones, we have heightened security on our computers. We're always looking for phishing and scamming that's going on. We have competitive pricing more so um, than I think before. We need more service providers in the rural areas to open that up even more. I know that there's a huge difference in the amount that we pay here in our small town than other people pay in Manhattan or Lawrence or Kansas City, and the service isn't quite as good. Increased use of digital tools. You have lots of tools that are out there for us to use: smartphones, tablets, iPads, laptops. Greater reliance on digital tools that you have at your disposal. We rely on them every day. I know that there's things that I wouldn't be able to do without my iPhone. If you asked me to give it up, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't know what was going on when. Um, we have an increase in collaboration between teachers, between administrators, between school districts. And you do have more service providers. It used to be that AOL, you could go to Walmart and get an AOL disk with 1,000 hours of dial-up time. Now you have unlimited access anywhere. There creates kind of a circular effect where you have um, in the economy. You've got, as the economy expands, more people are buying things off the internet, which then creates more service for other people as the internet expands. When we're talking about training, what training do we need to effectively integrate technology? In my current position as assistant principal, we need more training on social media. How do we tell the story of our school? How do we show people what all of the positive things that are going on? Because if we don't do it, if the teachers don't do it, if they don't, go to where the parents are, then we're never going to get the kind of buy-in that we need. So, parents used to be at home, they got the notes at home, now they're on social media, that's how they get their notes, that's where we need to be sending stuff to. I need to have better training on open education resources. I need to do a better job of finding cheaper, more efficient ways of doing things. Need more training with digital tools and the use of apps. I need to know how to use my iPad better, my laptops, networking, my networking tools that I have at my disposal, greater knowledge of acceptable use, what's okay to use, not okay to use for teachers, and awareness of protection of student data. I think is really important as we collaborate more, and schools, and we cross those kind of blurry boundaries. That's what we get into. Are we ready at USD 378 Riley County? We have adequate technology. We've got smart boards, iPads, laptops. We've got good internet access. We have plenty of digital tools. What we can be more thrifty with the open education resources. We're spending a lot of money for things that we don't need to spend money on. We've got calendar programs that cost money that we could be using. Google Calendar. There's a lot of ways that we can save money. There's a more collaboration with Web 2.0. Our teachers need to collaborate more together online, and we need to rely more on those open education resources and make them available to everyone, and so teachers aren't afraid to use them, not afraid to make mistakes. And then we need to look at how we can secure our data better for our students. The advantages of Web 2.0, I feel the advantages are you have increased collaboration, which allows for increase of student engagement. Students can create their own learning. Where do they want to go? What do they want to learn? And many of those resources are free. You give students then an audience for people to look and see what they're doing. It goes back to the social media. Showing and telling the story of your school. What is Riley County about? And so that's a way that you can get to where people are. You have a limitless almost number of resources for us to use. The disadvantages, you have those viral posts. I hear about teachers getting bashed on the internet. You have cyberbullying, spam, that social network addiction, limited content control, and security. You got to be able to control and lock down things when you need to, and sometimes you're unable to do that. And then we need to have dependable access. Sometimes that's not the case. My experience with inappropriate use, we have the IST Standard 5C, promote and model responsible social interactions. That's a huge thing that we need to do, is show kids when it's okay to use social media, when it's not, how to use it appropriately. In our school we have about 500 students on average. We have had 2 reports of cyberbullying a year. Typical comments are degrading in nature, and it's easier for predators, and when I mean predators, students who are out to get other students to use that social media. 3 years ago we had a serious incident with sexting. It happened at the middle school and high school, lots of students involved. 2 years ago there was unkind words spoken on Facebook and Snapchat. Last year we had problems with Snapchat specifically. So these are the things that we are looking out for. Thank you very much for